Um, Hi everyone. Um, your phone might ring soon, or maybe it already has, and you let it go to voicemail because something in you knew this conversation requires readiness. You're still building. So let's see what this energy brings. Something's been brewing in the space between you and someone else. You might sense it, that shift in the air, that feeling of anticipation mixed with uncertainty. Communication could be on the horizon, and if it comes, it might carry layers you haven't prepared for. Hold on, let's sit with this for a moment. What I'm picking up on is complexity. If this conversation happens, it might not be straightforward. It could start as an apology, words you've perhaps been waiting to hear, but underneath that surface, there might be something else stirring. Additional intentions, hidden layers, motives that aren't immediately visible. And here's what's interesting about this potential exchange. You might expect one thing and encounter something completely different. Someone could reach out appearing contrite, humble, ready to make amends, and those things might be genuine, but they might also be accompanied by something unexpected, a confession you didn't see coming, a request that catches you off guard, a revelation that recontextualizes everything you thought you understood. Let's talk about what unexpected could actually mean in this context. It's possible this person has been going through their own transformation, processing things privately, coming to realizations that took time to crystallize. And if they do reach out, they might share those realizations with you, which could be beautiful, or complicated, or both simultaneously. I'm sensing that you might have made peace with silence, built a life that doesn't require this person's presence or validation, found your footing independently. And that groundedness is important. It means whatever comes won't destabilize you the way it might have months ago. But peace doesn't mean indifference. You can be at peace and still feel something when their name appears on your screen. What would you actually want to hear if this call happens? Have you clarified that for yourself, or are you still figuring it out? Here's something I'm picking up on. This communication, if it materializes, might require you to make quick decisions about boundaries, how much access you're willing to grant, how much emotional labor you're willing to invest, how open you want to be versus how protected you need to stay. And those decisions matter, because the unexpected element could pull you in directions you weren't planning to go. It might trigger curiosity or compassion or old feelings you thought you'd resolved or new questions you hadn't considered. Let's see what else is here. I'm sensing something about timing. If this call comes, it might arrive at a moment that feels significant, not random. Maybe during a transition period in your life, maybe when you're particularly reflective, maybe when you least expect it but somehow most need it. Timing creates context, and context shapes how we receive information. It's possible this person has been building up courage, rehearsing what they want to say, wrestling with whether reaching out is selfish or necessary. And if they do make contact, that internal struggle might be palpable in their voice. Vulnerability sounds different than performance, and you might be able to tell the difference. Here's what I'm also picking up on. The unexpected part might not be shocking in content, It could be unexpected in tone, in delivery, in the way they frame things you already knew but never heard them acknowledge. Sometimes unexpectedness lives in validation. Having someone mirror back your reality finally can feel unexpected even when the facts aren't new. I want to address something about your role in this potential exchange. You might feel pressure to have an immediate response, to know right away how you feel about what they're sharing, to make decisions on the spot. But you don't owe anyone instant clarity. It's possible you'll need time to process, to sit with whatever information comes your way, to separate what you feel in the moment from what you feel after reflection. And taking that time is valid. Even if they seem to want immediate resolution, let's talk about what the apology portion might look like if it comes, because apologies exist on a spectrum. Some are surface level, I'm sorry you felt that way. Some are genuine but incomplete, I'm sorry for what happened. And some are full accountability, I'm sorry for. Specifically, what I did and how it affected you. If you receive an apology, which type might it be? And does the type matter to you, or is the gesture itself what carries weight? Here I'm sensing something about the unexpected element potentially being an ask, not just an apology or confession, but a request for forgiveness, for another chance, for your perspective, for closure, for reconnection. And if that ask comes, you'll need to decide how you want to respond. It's possible you'll feel pulled in multiple directions. Part of you might want to say yes immediately to bridge the gap, to heal the rift, to move forward. Another part might want to say no firmly to protect what you've built, to honor how far you've come, to maintain boundaries. Both impulses can coexist, and neither makes you weak or cold. I'm also picking up on something about information asymmetry. They might know things about their internal process that you don't have access to. And you might know things about your healing journey that they can't fully comprehend. So, even in honest communication, gaps might exist. Misunderstandings, different interpretations of the same events, divergent memories, and navigating those gaps requires patience. Willingness to hear without immediately defending, capacity to share without needing them to fully grasp your experience. What truth might you need to speak if this conversation opens up? Let's see what else needs to come through. I'm sensing that some of you have already visualized this call happening, imagined different versions of how it could go, rehearsed your own responses, prepared emotionally for various scenarios, and that preparation has value. But it's also possible the actual conversation, if it happens, won't match any of your rehearsals. Reality rarely follows our scripts exactly. Here's something else I'm picking up on. The unexpected element might involve others, information about mutual connections, situations you weren't aware of, context that changes how you understand the past. And that context could be relieving or it could be complicating. Either way, it might expand your perspective beyond what you could see from your vantage point alone. I want to address something about outcome attachment. If this call happens, You might be tempted to read into it heavily, to see it as a sign of something specific, to build meaning around it that extends beyond the conversation itself. But a call is just a call. What matters more is how you feel during and after, whether it brings clarity or confusion, whether it adds to your peace or disrupts it. Those internal indicators are more trustworthy than the fact of contact itself. It's possible this person reaching out could trigger old patterns in you. The impulse to over explain, to make them comfortable, to minimize your own needs to accommodate theirs, to rush toward resolution before you're actually ready. Watch for those patterns if they surface. You've grown beyond them. But growth doesn't mean they won't whisper temptations. How will you know if you're responding authentically versus responding from old conditioning? Here I'm sensing something about the aftermath. Regardless of how this potential conversation goes, you might need processing time afterward, space to integrate, permission to feel whatever emotions arise without judgment. Because even good conversations can be emotionally taxing. Even resolution creates its own kind of adjustment period. Let me tell you what else I am picking up on. Some of you might choose not to answer if this call comes, and that choice is equally valid. Silence is a response. Boundary maintenance is a form of communication. You don't owe anyone your attention. Even if they're calling with genuine intentions, even if the unexpected element is something positive, even if they've changed, your peace matters more than their need for closure. I'm also sensing that the unexpected element might be emotional rather than informational. The intensity of their feelings, the rawness of their delivery, the vulnerability they're willing to show that you've never witnessed before. And witnessing someone's emotional truth can be powerful, but it can also be manipulative if they're using emotion to bypass accountability. So discernment matters here. Can you hold space for their feelings while also maintaining clarity about your own needs? Can you be compassionate without being complicit? As I'm closing this reading, I want to leave you with this. Whether this call comes or doesn't, whether it's exactly what you expect or completely surprising, whether it brings resolution or raises new questions, you're equipped to handle it. You're not the same person you were when this connection was active. You've built resilience, clarified your values, strengthened your boundaries, found your voice. So, whatever comes through that phone, you can meet it from a place of centeredness, not perfection, not having all the answers, but groundedness. And groundedness is enough. Thank you for being here. If this resonated, share in the comments. Have you been sensing potential communication coming? How are you preparing for it? Trust yourself. Whatever unfolds, you'll navigate it wisely.